The plastics are different. You are going to have to reset your expectations about these plastics. These are proper dirt bike plastics, which means they are bendy, they are not super shiny, and they will be very easy to keep on the bike, in the sense when you drop it, it will bend rather than break. But these are not going to feel like the harder plastics that you're used to, where you put silicone and buff and all that, and it glows and gleams. This is not that kind of plastic. This is hard wearing, purposeful plastic. The one thing that KTM has done, which might turn out to be a good thing, is what you think are graphics on the tank is actually pigmented into the plastic itself. So the white parts, stickers or otherwise, are white. So when you scratch them, it's white underneath too. So from a distance, your bike will look scratchless no matter how much you scuff it up. And I'll tell you this, the pants I am using, they do have sections which are slightly abrasive. And in 1200 kilometers, there are scuff marks already on this motorcycle. Not visible, but in these studio lights, when you go looking for them, you can see them. I looked this up on YouTube, and the way to make it shiny again is actually to use rubbing compound and create a new surface, as it were.
Oh, scrub it off.
Right. So if you're not a hardcore off-roader and you would like your bike to remain pristine, figure out where your leg touches the motorcycle the most. You're going to want either grip pads there or a PPF layer there, primarily to protect the plastic. The plastic doesn't need help though.
Yeah.
Dirt bike plastics are just work. KTM plastics are generally quite cheap. So in theory, if you scrape it up badly enough and go and say, okay, just give me a fresh one, it shouldn't be expensive.
Like my impulse, every time I went off-road, I would invariably at some point or the other crash. And the one thing I have not changed on my bike are panels. Like that the only two things that I've interacted with on the 390 Adventure with while it was parked in the office was the view from the rear. And that's interesting because it's such a slim form coming all the way back. And it's so low. Like if you just look at that part of the bike, you don't even think of it as an adventure in the sense that it's so low and flat and clean.
I think when the Adventure R comes, then that sense that you have in your head of a travel-y dirt bike, that will come with that height comes from there. And that gap between the tire and the rear end grows.
And the other thing is that the seat was slim, and which is why you notice that the grab rails are so far out wide. Because I think for a pillion, there won't be that much space.
Yeah. So let me also, since you brought up the pillion, let me get this also out of the way. How is a pillion on this motorcycle? They are reasonably comfortable. The previous 390 Adventure had vastly more spacious pillion accommodations. So if you're going to take a pillion and go traveling on this motorcycle, it can be done. It is not going to feel super spacious. The Himalayan's better for that particular job. This bike's job, and I'll give you hardware indication that tell you this bike's job, is you go traveling by yourself, you go traveling with your luggage, the bike will take it. And the biggest way to understand this is the reason why the foot pegs for the pillion are not mounted to the subframe is so that the subframe loads can be designed accordingly. And right behind your heel are two bolts. You remove those two bolts, the entire subframe containing the pillion foot peg comes off the motorcycle in one shot.
Out of the way. Awesome. Awesome. I like it. It's focused.
Yeah, I like it.
I like it.
I like it.
I mean, if you ask me 390 Adventure at any point, did you think about, hey, I want to take a pillion on board and go with it? No. That's not the idea.
Let me reverse this argument. If you did want to buy a 390 Adventure and desperately said, no, I do want to travel with a pillion, I would tell you to go to a seat guy and just alter your seat very slightly. It's not a major mod. There is a dish which becomes flat, so the rider has a bunch of choices about where they want to sit, because when you're riding off-road, you move your weight quite a bit. Where it ends, you move that end forward up the bike a little bit so that your pillion has a slightly longer pad. It will help.
You think the width is enough?
The width you will get used to. So when I sat on the bike the first time, this is what I was coming to next in terms of the first impression. My sit bones just about reach the edge of the seat. I have very little seat left beyond beyond my sit bones. And I'm not like a super wide person in the hip. So I did think about that. 400 kilometers later, I did think about that.
But I think the pillion seat is narrower than your
And the pillion seat is narrower. So to me, if you intend to take this on with a pillion, you're going to have to work it out. It's not automatically going to work.
Like the older Adventure, you could just say, okay, yeah, somebody is on the back, we can ride. That's okay.
No.
Like this one would be like, how keen is your pillion to come along with you is the thought that came to me.
And I won't going to say the suspension will allow you to solve it. The other accommodations are there. It's the fact that you'll have to figure out what to do with the seat. You'll have to work with a seat guy to say, how do I make it wider? How do I make it a little bit broader and accommodate a pillion? It can be done, but its primary job is long distance solo touring, which it is really good at.
Awesome. The only other thing I want to talk about is that I love that little detail he was talking about, the plastics. Like this beak is made of that special plastic.
Polypropylene.
And basically I've had it on my Impulse get tucked all the way in, and you just push it out and it just comes out and just goes back into its shape. Nothing happens to it.
Yeah.
So this bike, if you're actually going to use it off-road, have it fall, you will not have to worry about those kind of things.
And the idea is that these plastics are more or less fundamentally shared all the way from the X all the way out till the Enduro R. So they're meant to be dropped, scraped, scratched, have fun with your motorcycle, and it doesn't automatically mean you're replacing plastics constantly because they're cracking and breaking. That's not what's going to happen.
Hi, it's me, Karthik, the one who's generally laughing and just going along with Shumi's jokes. You can catch all the jokes on the main channel. That's where they're all there. Right now, this is a bit of the serious conversation, but you can catch all the fun factor on the full video, which is on the MotorInc channel. So head out there and subscribe. And if you want more of these shorter clips, do subscribe to this channel as well.